Orlando shoots over 50% from the floor, 27-29 from the free throw line. And their bench did the work. 35-22 advantage there. And the points in the paint, they dominate all facets of this basketball game against the Golden State Warriors. And the Warriors have their 3-game winning streak snapped in Orlando. It was a magical place for Stephen Curry and company, but only 3 players scoring double figures for the Dubs, 6 for the Orlando Magic. Then we'll see what happens tomorrow night in Miami, but we'll dive into this one here on Toyota Warriors Postgame Live with NBA champion Festus Ezeli, the pride of Yale, Nikita. I am Bonta Hill. Everything we highlighted in the pregame show. Points in the paint, bench production, giving these guys some help here. Yes. Orlando scored 67 in the first half. Warriors did cut it to 5 midway through the fourth quarter, but it was all Orlando down the stretch. They grabbed every key rebound, came up with every play, and the turnovers once again for the Warriors.
Can we just give Coach Jamal Mosley a round of applause? Like what he did tonight for the Orlando Magic, great bounce back by them. And Bonta, I know you want to give this a shout out real quick.
Well, just some post-game handshakes. Desmond Bane and company, Draymond, they're all showing love to each other. Desmond Bane with a fine game, 23 points, 7-16 from the floor.
I mean, so Orlando's a well-coached team. Jamal Mosley, coach, he did a great job of getting this team prepared. You're playing tonight without your star player, Paolo Banchero. Averages 18 points, I think, 21 points a game, actually. And without that, you need Franz Wagner to step up. You need Anthony Black to step up. You need Desmond Bane to step up. Each one of those guys stepped up, but you had role players like Bitadze coming into the game making an impact. He only had 6 points, so you're not going to feel it. But over the course of the game, they just looked more athletic, getting offensive rebound. Wendell Carter Jr. came into the game, he had a double-double tonight. Yep. The Warriors looked like the slower, older team. Meanwhile, the Orlando Magic made up for it by getting out in the fast break. They beat the Warriors in the fast break. Was it 28-16 tonight? All those things led to a loss tonight for the Warriors.
You could talk about looking athletic versus looking slower and older, but they just looked more disciplined. And I'm talking about the Orlando Magic. Every mistake that the Warriors made, the Magic capitalized on, whether they were leaking out in transition and finishing at the basket, whether they were coming out to contend with a person on the perimeter and blowing right past them. They were just so impeccable about every single decision they made in the half court and in the full court. And overall, the Warriors could not contend with them because they kept making mistakes. How many bunnies were missed at the basket? How many times was there an open shot and it was passed off or looked off for another extra pass that might have disrupted things offensively? The Warriors just didn't have it quite tonight, especially against the size of a team like Orlando.
Well, points in the paint is something we're going to monitor all season long with the Golden State Warriors. And despite them being 3-1 entering tonight on a 6-game road trip, it was the points in the paint that it did them in. Remember last Wednesday, San Antonio outscored them by 30. Now, you see the final tally here, 64-46, Zena, but it felt wider than that. The gap felt wider when it came to points in the paint because Orlando did this all night long. They just put pressure on the rim, on both rims, really forcing the Warriors to miss a lot of layups. You see the stray blow-bys here, line drives, Jalen Suggs, easy layup right there. No paint resistance for the Golden State Warriors.
Exactly. There was just no stoppage. You see Buddy Hield here, Will Richard here trying to, kind of stop into the gaps, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough bodies. It wasn't enough showing. It wasn't enough hedging to get anyone in Orlando to say, I'm a little scared to go in. There was no fear. There was no reluctance to go into the paint and test what was at the basket. And Al Horford was not the Al Horford we typically know to be able to block and swat some shots. We got Quentin Post in there, but he wasn't quite the pressure that was needed to protect the rim. And so overall, you saw Orlando just take full advantage that they had easy lanes and really no one to stop them.
Well, the way you lose the points in the paint battle is by letting them drive to your basket. Get a lot of that. We had Franz Wagner attacking the whole time. Anthony Black, really no pressure on the defense, especially when the Orlando Magic got stops. When they got stops, their whole pressure, the whole mission was, let us get to the rim. They're not shooting the 3-ball. At least they weren't before tonight. They weren't shooting the ball particularly well. So their whole option was, let's just get to the rim. And when they did that, they opened up shots for Desmond Bane, opened up shots for Anthony Black, opened up shots for Jalen Suggs. These are things that other teams are going to watch and they're going to try to replicate. They see that the Warriors right now don't have that interior defense. They don't have that interior pressure. And on the other hand, I felt like just that long, athletic lineup of the Orlando Magic really bothered the Warriors at the rim. You've seen Jimmy miss some layups. You see Draymond try to attack the rim. You see some guys just a lot of pressure on the other end and not enough pressure on the Warriors' end as well.
And then we talk about the big three, right? Top heavy. The Warriors were tonight with Stephen Curry and Jimmy Butler scoring over 30 apiece, but they did not get the bench production they needed down in Orlando. Just 8 of 23 from the floor, 22 points there. 2 of 10 from the three-point line. They did out-rebound the Magic's bench, but guys like Anthony Black, Tyus Jones, I thought made some big buckets. He was 3 of 3 from the floor. But Anthony Black, a quick guard, young in this league, Fezzi,
nice.
32 minutes, nice. 8 of 13 from the floor and 21 points.
I mean, you saw the whole game from him. The only thing, he just wasn't making any three-point shots. So he said, okay, I'm just going to drive and attack the rim. There's no rim pressure. There's no rim protection. And so he is a young guard. And I've said this about the Orlando Magic. They are doubling down on all their young athletic guards. Play to your strengths. And tonight, without Paolo Banchero, he had the green light. Got into the floor, made a lot of plays for his team, got the energy, the momentum. It seemed like the Warriors are starting to get it back. Steph Curry was making some plays in the first half. But in the second half, defensively, Orlando Magic, they were getting stops for a young team, very disciplined, like Zena said, and they just continue to respond to the adversity the whole time.
When you've got the size that Orlando has, it makes things so difficult for a defensive pressure system to try and get something going. You saw, particularly in the first half, even in the second half, every time that Wendell Carter Jr. or Jonathan Isaac or anyone was setting a pick, whoever was on that backside, which usually was Draymond or Al Horford, had to make a decision. Do I tag the roller or do I go out to the person that's wide open for an open three in the corner? And every single time, it was so difficult to make that decision. Sometimes either that corner three was open or they would just slip back door, get above the rim finishes. Goga had a few of those. I appreciate the fact that Orlando took advantage of their size tonight. They shot 25% from three. You said this pregame.
1 and 6 when they shot under 33% from the three-point line. But it didn't matter.
It didn't matter because they were able to capitalize on their size, making that back line of the defense have to make a decision. And most of the times, it didn't matter what decision you made. Someone was wide open, finishing above the rim.
And they withstood a Curry flurry in that second quarter. Heck, in the first half when he had 22 points. Now, Stephen Curry ended up with 34 points, 12 of 23, but we thought he was on his way to another 50-burger in that building. Remember, he's had 2 games in that building at the Kia Center with 50-plus games, right? He's had 2 other games with 40-plus points. He's had a slew of games with 30-plus points. So a game high there, the 9 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 steals. But Orlando tightened up on their defense in that second half on Stephen Curry, where he only scored 12.
This is a beautiful game by Steph. They did a great job of chasing him over screens. They double-teamed him, trying to make other guys make plays. Yep. In the first half, it was forcing Draymond and Al Horford to make shots. And Steph Curry was still finding ways to get open and hit some really tough shots. But, man, the Orlando Magic defense continued to chip at it, and the second half really slowed him down.
It was crazy watching Jalen Suggs battle through screens, battling over screens, battling under screens. I mean, not really against Steph, but just particularly wanting to get in front of whoever was out on the perimeter. And that was the complete opposite for what the Warriors were providing in terms of their screen coverage, falling behind screens or trying to X and then getting left behind. There was a lot of miscommunication sometimes. But when it comes to Stephen Curry, we just saw that list. He's always going to put up the points. He's always going to put up the team on his back. And you saw Stephen get tired in that game. There was moments where he was doing everything he could on offense, running around, setting up his screens, making sure he was coming off screens really tough. And then he'd have to turn around and go guard. I mean, one time he ended up with Franz Wagner on him or him on Franz Wagner in transition. He was doing everything he could. But ultimately, you can't have 2 people be the source of your offense when everyone is blitzing you on the other side of the ball.
No doubt about that. Moving up the scoring list there, surpassing his buddy Vince Carter. And he's coming from Kevin Garnett next, who's number 21 on that list. But you make a great point, Fezzi and Zena. Jalen Suggs coming off a groin injury. We thought that would be trouble for Jalen Suggs, but he battled alongside Anthony Black. Credit to the Orlando Magic for slowing Stephen Curry down in the second half. But one guy who did pick up the slack in the second half was Jimmy Butler. He's having a hell of a road trip, folks. His last 3 games, he was shooting over 66% from the three-point line. Damn near dropping triple-double numbers. And you see tonight, 33 to the 16 from the floor. And he said, you know what? I know I'm shooting 48%, 47% from 3.
I've never seen that before,
I'm taking my game inside. Attempted only 1 3, and he was able to get to the free throw line. And as always, Zena, 33, 7, and 4 for Jimmy Buckets.
He looked so spry tonight, just so athletic, jumping up, getting 2 big assists from Draymond at the basket, finishing above folks, finishing through contact. We know with the absence of Jonathan Kuminga, the only person that's really reliable with the points in the paint is Jimmy Butler. And so being able to see him get to the basket and still be able to provide that for the Warriors was super big. But the only other thing, I mean, Jimmy Butler, again, he's another person that can't do it all. Jimmy Butler Butler was on the defensive end trying to get things going in passing lanes, jumping up, touching balls, deflecting everything. But he was really, really a little bit by himself, especially in that second half, having to do it all.
Man, Jimmy did everything tonight.
Everything.
You saw the footwork. You saw him in the post. You saw him getting out in passing lanes. You saw him going to the free throw line, shot 15 free throws, helping the Warriors really get those points in the paint that they desperately need, bringing the physicality, battling against Franz Wagner at times, battling and boxing out Wendell Carter Jr. We did a lot of the things. The Warriors need to find a way to get Jimmy and Steph some help. Everybody needs to get involved and attack the paint.
And then we had the game within the game. These young Orlando Magic, they're like, no, we're not no punks.
They're tough.
We're going at you guys. Jalen Suggs, Jimmy Butler was chirping. We usually don't see Jimmy react to other players. But even Yusuf was like, yo, Jimmy, I got your back. Jalen Suggs, he wanted to smoke. Look at that. He's like, yeah, you keep talking here. And look at Trayvon, just an observer there. It's just like, oh, what's going on over here? Then Jimmy Butler misses a layup. Here you go, the game within the game. And look at Jalen Suggs. He's talking still. Jimmy Butler won't let go of his arm. This is wild down the stretch.
I respect this, man. I respect Jalen Suggs.
The vet getting the call? The vet getting the call? That's a good
I also skip to my little hand in hand, right?
Let me go, Fezzi. Let me go.
I love Jamal Mosley coming out and getting his player. Right? Like, but this is a tough team. Like, Orlando is a tough team. They're not backing down. Festus, you mentioned in the pregame, these guys do not think that they're down just because Paolo's not out there. They know they're talented. They hit their shots tonight. It was a track meet for the Warriors tonight, and they were proud of it.
You know what? We saw this early in the game. You mentioned this. Steph hit a three, and what was that dance he did? It was right in front of the bench of the Orlando Magic and Jalen Suggs.
Every time they made a play, the Warriors did, the Orlando Magic were right there behind them making the play back. It was they scored a bucket, Steph hit the three, they came right back in transition. And this is your defense is supposed to be set. Yeah. The Warriors were not ready for that barrage the whole night.
That intensity turned up a notch when Steph did that towards Orlando. They're like, okay, we're ready to roll here. And they scored 67 first half points. Fezzi, let me go. Back up, man. We're going to hear from Steve Kerr and figure out who's playing tomorrow in Miami as the Warriors drop to 3-2 on a 6-game road trip. You know about the 2028 Olympics? Well, Stephen Curry said, God willing, I still have the choice of physical option where I could impact the team. Never say never, but I highly doubt it. Highly doubt it. That was via Mind the Game podcast with Steve Nash and LeBron James.
Bonte, this is one of the best highlights of my last summer. And I'm telling you, I had an incredible last summer. 2024 was insane. But I went to France because I couldn't miss the opportunity to watch Steph Curry on the same team with LeBron James, Kevin Durant. And you could go down the line of all the all-stars and superstars on this team. But even in the league of superstars, Steph Curry still stands out. And he made me so proud to be American. I was excited. I was excited to watch Steph in those last two games, Zena.
It's sad to hear the highly doubted when you're talking about bringing the Avengers together.
I know.
Right? I mean, this was so special. The fact that LeBron James wanted Stephen Curry to be a part of this. They went out and talked to him to make sure he could be a part of this. And then he comes in and, as you said, sets himself apart in the Avengers, sets himself apart as someone that could do that against France. Of course, La Patrie, my country, was a little hurt, but that's okay. It was worth it.
Zena, it's okay, Zena.
Okay.
But, you know, Steph says he's not going to play again. He says he's not going to play because how do you top that? That experience, everything about it, the people you played with, you know, they were down 10 to France in the second half. Like, all these things are things that
What about Serbia? They were down 15.
Serbia, I mean, these are all things that you can't, and by the next Olympics, he's going to be age 40. I think it's just him just saying, you know, I'm passing the torch to the next guys. You got the Ants of the world, the Jason Tatums, shout out to Tyrese Halliburton when he comes back, and
Devin
Anthony
Booker.
Edwards. All these guys, Devin Booker could be the next veteran for the team. But it was a beautiful thing to watch. The play that they call every time they were in a pinch was the same play they used to run here with Steph and Clay. The LeBron James, Steph Curry pick and roll, that was beautiful to watch every time.
The golden dagger. And then LeBron James after the Serbia game coming up to Stephen Curry. Steph. It was awesome, man. It was awesome. It was surreal there. And France, they're coming though in 2028.
You make me smile now, bud. How did you make me start smiling?
France is going to be good. Team Canada's coming.
Wow.
So, come on, Steph, just give us one more Olympic game. I wouldn't mind it. Just be the vet. Be a player coach. Highlights are coming up. We got plenty to choose from. Time to look around the wild Western Conference.
Yeah!
Things are about to get wild in Hollywood with LeBron James making a season debut, a league record 23rd season.
Welcome back, King.
Listen, the first 14 games due to sciatica affecting his lower back. Of course, that's a nerve issue.
The author
he is ready to roll.
King James Bible.
Did you see that with his cousin? She thought LeBron James was authoring Bibles.
She thought that was why it was the most sold book in the history of time.
No. Who are you talking about? Me?
No, my cousin.
Oh, that's hilarious. No. LeBron James, that's funny.
LeBron James.
LeBron James. He's going to come back, and I'm excited for him to come back. I'm just very curious as to what this offense is going to look like for the Lakers. We know how comfortable Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, they've gotten with each other as a duo, and now you insert LeBron James into the mix. We know he's a great leak-out person. He's going to help them with their transition. They're 30th in the league right now with their pace and their transition, but what's it going to look like in the half court?
And Hayden. DeAndre Ayton as well, who's been playing
well.
Some good minutes.
You're looking – so the way I look at the Lakers is as they are constructed right now, they do not stand a chance in the Western Conference in the playoffs. They're winning games right now in the regular season. With LeBron James, you have more of a chance. Now, you have to find a way to integrate him. I mean, you don't really need to integrate LeBron, but all these guys that have had rhythms while he was gone, they have to find a way to keep that rhythm. While LeBron, who is a primary ball handler, they got to figure out a way for Luka and LeBron to be able to share the basketball. And Austin Reeves, all these guys, this is what the next rendition of this team is going to look like. But I'm not bored of LeBron at season 23. Age what? 50 what? 70 what? 60 what? It is insane to think that LeBron is still doing this at this age right now. I am so impressed. And, you know, this is just all credit to him and all the work that he continues to put in. Like, I am a fan. We've talked about Steph and the longevity. LeBron James, same thing. I'm excited to see him continue to play and see how much longer he can continue to do this.
That's just trying to give LeBron James an AARP discount.
40 years old. It's going to be 41 on Christmas.
He's a young man still doing it. I mean, it's crazy to think that he's going to come back, LeBron James, and help the Lakers get faster. Like, that's the type of thing that he can do for a team like that.
I like how he was in the G League at one point and his son was starting in the NBA. When LeBron was in the G.
I love that.
South Bay Lakers.